I went on a day trip recently and I almost left myself stranded on the roadside with no fuel in the gas tank. So I'm going to tell you about how this bike works out for touring, because it does work. On this day trip I took the backpack with me and the saddlebag from a cruiser bike that I threw across the saddle, and in total the luggage weighed about 40 pounds. I went to pick up some honey from some farms, and the bike has a 17-liter tank, or the same as 4.5 US gallons, or 3.8 Imperial gallons. And throughout this video I'm gonna go all three measurements back and forth, so you can hear it wherever your country is and whatever unit of measurement you're familiar with. And on the dashboard here there is a fuel economy indicator there, and it says as is, because I'm running in kilometer per hour there for speed, so the whole thing is set up in liters per 100 kilometers. But even if I ran the engine, it wouldn't give me any number there, because I need to have the wheels spinning for it as well. So these are the numbers that I came up with. In city I usually get 6.1 to 6.4 liters on 100 kilometer. In US gallons, that's using US gallons, that's 38.5 to about 37 miles per gallon. That's in city. Or Imperial gallons, that's 46.3 to 44. And what I did on the highway is and so for the range what you get out of a gas tank in city, I typically get out of a tank 220 kilometers or 138 miles before the fuel warning light comes on and it's blinking on the dashboard. And at that point I have about 2 liters of gas in it, a little less than a gallon, I don't know, 3/4 of a gallon, whatever it is. And in sixth gear I was doing highway, I was doing B roads, country roads, you know, where these farms are. And so these are the numbers that I got in sixth gear. I'm just gonna put it down here on the bike and you can just see the numbers. Pretty self-explanatory there. So that's my average fuel economy in city, that's my range there, tank size. So I did 50 kilometers, 60, 70, 80, all the way I have the numbers up to 130 kilometers per hour. So this is the metric side. And you can see the engine RPM that's next to it, and you can see the fuel economy numbers there. So if you're doing 50 kilometers an hour for any extended period of time, that's not a typo, you get worse fuel economy than if you're doing 60 kilometers an hour. Okay, now I'm not suggesting that be a touring speed. You can see it's 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, reasonable numbers up to about 100 or 110 kilometers an hour. So if you can keep your speed at legal and normal, you can get a pretty good fuel economy, better than in town. And only if you're pushing 120, 130, that's when fuel economy really rises and goes sharply up. And this is upright, okay? No tucking, no nothing. And I tried it on a flat road, so no uphill, no downhill. In the meanwhile, here is the US gallon figures for the same sixth gear. So no uphill, no downhill, and nothing in front of me, okay? And at speeds over 100 kilometers an hour or 60 miles an hour, it's really hard to get these numbers in. So I was not rounding, but I was watching the numbers and the gauge pretty carefully. The gauge that the bike has and the measurement and the data confirms it is actually pretty accurate, and that's what I get at the gas station if I do my math. Those are the figures that I get for those kind of speeds. So that's US gallons, and I've got Imperial gallons here for Imperial gallons there. Those are the speeds, the engine RPMs, and the mileage. So if I go fast, throttle, any variation, it's really hard to go at exactly 68 miles per hour. Well, it was actually, that was 100 kilometers an hour, but it's really hard to keep it at 6100 RPM with nothing in front of me, no wind gusting, no side winds, no nothing, and it was kind of nerve-wracking a little bit, but those numbers are pretty solid. And the numbers that appear on the dashboard, what the computer is telling me, how this one works, is you hold it at a steady RPM, I don't know, anchor your hand with your thumbs or so, and you have to wait for the fuel numbers to stabilize for about, there's a 10-second delay. So if you even do a minor acceleration or deceleration, the numbers on the dash show up with a approximate 5, 8, maybe 10-second delay. And when you don't accelerate and just keep your speed steady, you have to wait another half a minute or so for the digits, for the decimal digits, to not go up one or not drop down 1 or 2 decimal dots. So it was quite a process, but that's the touring capability of the bike. If you can keep your speed at legal limits and within normality, this can work.